Why do we run? In a world where we have cars, planes, and other methods of transportation, why do we have dedicated classes to see who can run around a track the fastest? Why does it matter? Run with the Wind is an anime about 10 college kids who unexpectedly get roped into becoming a running team. Haiji, the head of the dorm, is on a mission to train all 10 students to run in the prestigious Hakone Ekiden. The story revolves around the growth of the team and asks the fundamental question, why do we run? The soundtrack for Run with the Wind is scored by Hayashi Yuki, the same composer who also wrote the OSTs for My Hero Academia and Haikyuu. His track We Must Go really grabbed me because of how Studio Bones uses it to reflect some of the most profound moments in the anime. In particular, I really want to take a deep dive into the ending scene in episode 13. Here in the forest, Kakeru talks to his team, revealing his troubled past. After punching his coach in the face, his entire team was punished and wasn't allowed to run in any major tournaments for a year. With the guilt hanging over his head, Kakeru looks down to suggest to the team that he shouldn't run with them because of his fear of ruining everyone's efforts yet again. As he's about to make his point, Yuki interrupts him and the introduction of We Must Go starts to play. The introduction's hazy start shows a lot of hesitation held by each of the 10 members of the team. Whether it's a lack of physical ability, confidence, motivation, or something else, the team starts in a place of uncertainty. But it's not dissonant. All of the notes may be quirky or weird, but they ultimately are in the same key and are on the same page. As We Must Go plays in the background, each member of the team gives their support to Kakeru one by one, as they really come together for the first time. The music and its amorphous sound resembles this mashed together team of 10 people. They started from almost nothing and are now almost ready to run in the prestigious Hakone Ekiden. This section to me represents Kakeru's redemption. It gives him some more confidence from his past failures and gives him a new place to belong. Everyone is fine with Kakeru's troubled past and is really looking to move forward, not look back. The build-up scene focuses on Haiji's obsession with his question, why do we run? Each member of the Kansai running team is still figuring out their own answer, and the show gives them ample time in the spotlight to find it. This section's composition helps to reflect each of their individual journeys. In contrast to the introduction, there's nothing ethereal about this section. Each voice has a very distinct flavor and role that they're trying to assert. The strings take the main flow of the melody, but they still have the underlying beat from the introduction, the piano on top, and another wind instrument that pops up from time to time. Moving along, the percussion and brass add their voices to the second half of the build-up. The sheer quantity of the instruments creates a robust volume and harmony. As the section comes to a close, there's a distinct call and response between the strings and the brass. It reminds me of their cheesy call and response. The mountains of Hakone are the steepest in the world. Each of these melodic lines mirrors the members of the team looking for their answer to Haiji's question in their own way. They may be loud, high-pitched, come in late, or constant, but they are always running the path together to make it to the start line of the Hakone Ekiden. After receiving everyone's approval, Kakeru finally accepts the team's invitation and commits himself to seriously running the Hakone Ekiden. We've been waiting 13 episodes for Kakeru to finally get on board, and the start line sounds weak? Listen to the transition from the build-up to what I like to call the start line. The weak piano solo is a pretty big drop in energy from where we were before. It's shaky and distorted underneath, creating a weird sound that's unsteady. At first glance, this seems strange coming from the build-up section that came from a place of strength, but in the context of the scene, we can interpret this lonely piano solo as Kakeru's first real start with the team. Kakeru has bottled up his story, which led him to quit competitive running for over a year. Getting this off his chest is a huge leap of faith, and it's hard to start over from zero. This piano solo shows us Kakeru's naked feelings. He earnestly wants to run with the 10 members of the team, and it's at this exact moment that he can finally leave his past behind and start running again. But there's still hesitation and uncertainty, hence the distortion in the piano. He isn't fully convinced that he'll be able to keep himself in control. Kakeru approaches Haiji to apologize and thank him. After Haiji accepts, the vocals add in as if to save Kakeru. As Kakeru's eyes widen, he finally asserts that he wants to run the race with the 10 of them together. When Haiji's face mirrors Kakeru's, we realize that Haiji has also been saved by Kakeru's acceptance. His dream of getting 10 people to run this amazing race that he's been dreaming of for 4 years is now finally coming together.
出たいです。箱根駅伝にこの10人で。
As the music runs ahead, the focus shifts from Kakeru to the other members of the team across the riverbank. The start line also moves up to its next theme, which features many of the same instruments that we heard before in the build-up. These, again, mirror the many faces of the Kansei running team. While Haiji pokes fun at Kakeru and the twins get upset, the team stands together, waiting for Kakeru to join them. The wind blows to signal change, and the sunlight shines on the team to lead him toward his new goal, the top of Hakone Ekiden. As the episode ends, he runs toward the opposite side of the riverbank to fully accept his place on the team. However, the song isn't quite finished yet. Listen to how it stops, unresolved at the end. Where is it going? Production IG leaves that up in the air for you to find out as you watch the rest of the series. As you can see, the first 3 parts of We Must Go help to enhance this pivotal scene in episode 13. In addition to the introduction, build-up, and start line, there is also a conclusion section that doesn't get played. I want to include the conclusion here because I feel like it makes the composition complete, particularly in how it ends. The first part of the conclusion immediately takes away all of the large voices that built up over the start line section. It sounds very similar to the introduction, with almost the same arrangement of instruments. As the section moves along, the voices fall out one by one until there's just a single note playing. The conclusion ends on the same note as the introduction starts on, just an octave higher. To me, this part ties the theme of why do we run together with Kakeru's revelation that he runs for Haiji's sake. We saw in episode 13 that Haiji extends his hand to save Kakeru from wallowing in his past failures in order to run with the team. The fact that the notes from the introduction and the conclusion are separated by an octave symbolically connects Haiji's question to Kakeru's answer. It passes on the torch and shows Kakeru his path forward to continue the Kansei running team in Haiji's stead. We Must Go is more than just a song in the OST. It's the track that Hayashi composed and Production IG utilized to help underline the question, why do we run? It mirrors the Kansei running team's journey and how each of them found their own answer. The song helps to emphasize what words cannot. The important part isn't running around a track or winning a race. What's important is what you gain from the sweat and tears that you put into it. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you thought about We Must Go and how it relates to Run with the Wind. Leave your comments below and see you all next time.